Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, teaching rule well. Peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, out the 144,000. I'm the brother Awar Gabar from the Great Millstone, San Francisco Bay Area camp. All right, just want to go into a quick lesson of the title being, The Heathen Will Not Be Saved Nor Destroyed. Okay? They will not receive salvation, all right, and they will not be destroyed, because you got a lot of damnable heresies going out, men whose doctrine is, who are changed, they're given a change. They like Nate, he constantly perverts the doctrine, constantly going against, the truth which came out of One West. He always perverting, changing, bringing about the hell doctrine in, and hey, he comes with the doctrine of a Israelite man can only deal with one woman. He said, hey, the heathen will be destroyed according to Jeremiah 30:11. When the Lord said he will not make a full end of us, but he will make a full end of the nations. So he continually goes off there. He got these novices of the Genesis, who's saying that the heathen can be saved. For over a decade now, the demon Hakai had been pushing that, he had the correct, he was pushing the true breakdown of, the Gentiles, and when you see that word Gentile, anything pertaining to salvation, it's talking about the Israelites, so both of those doctrines are off, man. See us here at GMS, man. All right, we're the true prophets of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and we know our power is a power of balance. Let's start it there. Proverbs 11:1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. See? Hey, we right there at the median of what the Lord is going to do. Between those two doctrines, we push right there, the median, right there at the median, which is the correct way of, correct way of, teaching what will happen to the heathen. Okay? They will not be destroyed, all right? And they damn sure will not make it up into the chariots. Now, you have more people who come with the doctrine that the Genesis push. You know what I mean? You have more people come with that doctrine. So, there's more precepts we have to go into to correct that, because they try to pull precepts here and there where it says Gentiles, and salvation. And we have to, go into the word Gentile and go into the context. All right? But then here's just the destruction. All heathens will be destroyed. Like, nobody teaches that. Where did that even come from? It tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes 4:16, there is no end of all the people. Yeah, there's no end of all the people. See? We're not going to destroy, all right? See, we're not Esau Edom, man. We're not going to destroy our servants. All right? We're going to instruct our servants in the way of life. Okay? I'll say for Esau Edom, man, the spirit which is in him is not upright. That's why the book of Obadiah, verse 18 is said for him. That's the ultimate prophecy. That's the end of Esau Edom. But how our father's a father of spirit, so he's not gonna just totally wipe away their spirit, but that nation is gonna be done away with. But that's for the rest of the heathen. Okay, hey, just like they wandering after the beast now, man, they're following the ways. Majority of them are following the ways of the West. The fillers in the Most High movie, they just follow after who's in power. Who's next to be in power? Jacob. Okay? Jacob, man, we're going to instruct them in righteousness. And when they go off, that's what we're going to have that scepter for. All right, to execute the judgment written according to the book of Revelation 2. All right, we're going to exercise power over them. All right, we're going to execute the judgment written for breaking the law of the Heavenly Father. We're going to minister the law to them, and when they go off, we're going to deal with them accordingly. But this Ecclesiastes 4:16, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. All right? But the point is there's no end of all the people. They have a role to play. Okay? Well, let's get this in Sirach 10. Look. Well, I'm going to start Sirach 10 and 1. The point is in 3. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people. How are we going to instruct them? All right? By the laws. I mean, they're going to be instructed by us ministering the laws unto them. All right? So don't be idol worship, idolatry will be done away with. Okay? You know, we're going to implement Leviticus the 11th chapter, you know, the dietary law. Okay? Hey, the Sabbath will be in full effect. Okay? Hey, and life is going to flourish. You know, according to Proverbs 29:2, when the wise are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. All right, it says, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. See? Hey, and what does it say in St. Matthew the 6th chapter? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What goes on in heaven? Complete order. All right? So earth is going to mirror heaven, man. It's going to be complete order down here. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such as all they that dwell therein. You can see that on the left-hand side now. Okay? You see on the left-hand side now, you know, everyone is in that do as thy will mind frame. You know, they're following Thelema, the doctrine of Thelema. Will, do as thy will. All right? Because that's the only law that Esau implements, man. The left-handed law, you know, according to Aleister Crowley, do as thy will. Okay, so that's the mind frame that the people are in. When we push the vibration of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments, all right, then, hey, that's how the city's going to be governed. On all the inhabitants thereof. You know? And wickedness will not be tolerated. Okay, judgment is going to be executed to the fullest. All right, in fear, all right, it's going to be installed in the nation. What does it say in Micah, the 4th chapter? It says, straight to the point, Micah 4 and 5, for all people will walk everyone in the name of his God. All right, and that's lowercase G-O-D. So Allah Elohim, all right, the angels was lost their first estate. Okay, those who can be joint heir with the Mashiach Yahushua, they're all gonna have their region. All right, they're all gonna have their slaves and their people, and they're gonna be a power to them. All right, and they're gonna walk according to how we teach them. Since for all people will walk everyone in the name of his God. Okay, and we will walk in the name of Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua, our power forever and ever. So that's how it's going to be set up, forever and ever. So where does them being destroyed come in at? Okay? They're going to walk in our ways, and we're going to walk in the ways of the Heavenly Father forever and ever. All right? Back in Sirach 10 and 2, as the judge of the people with himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people. See? All right? It's not going to be no fluoride in the water. There ain't going to be no GMO foods. Ain't gonna be no chemtrails flying in the air, you know. Right now I feel a little sick, you know, due to whatever is in the air or whatever the fuck, you know. It's not gonna be like that. Okay, children will not be vaccinated. Not gonna do that, man. Will be no AB clinics, no child deletion clinics. All right. Won't be no STDs because adultery and sodomy will not be tolerated. All right, it's gonna be life. Even the heathen gonna live longer. Okay, the heathen gonna live longer, man. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. See, the whole earth is gonna be beautified, man. Everything except for America. Okay, everything except for America, man. We're not going to have the mind frame of the elites, man, you know, with the Georgia Guidestone to bring the world's population down to 500 million. No, we're going to be on the vibration of the Heavenly Father. Be fruitful and multiply. All right? Be fruitful and multiply. That's to all creatures on the planet Earth, especially the humans. You know? So they're going to be destroyed. What for? You know? We're going to keep our slaves around. We're going to, just like, you know, some of us, you know, your last name may be Smith, Buckley, Johnson. All right? Whatever, man, because you really go back to shit, you know, the plantation that your forefathers was on, was working for, you know, and you know. So we're gonna have long lines and, you know, lineages of heathen. Okay? They're not gonna be destroyed. You know? They're just gonna be continually employed, and eventually they'll go back to their land and be able to enjoy the kingdom. Okay, but they're still going to walk in the way of their power, which is the Israelite man. Okay? Hey, and it's going to be life, man. See, ain't no children going to be no child trafficking rings. All right? You know? It ain't going to be no children going missing. All right? Really, all the things that go on here in America are not going to go on in the kingdom of heaven. You know? This kingdom here is about death. You know, the kingdom of heaven will be about life. You know, so they won't be destroyed. Hey, and they won't be saved either. All right, there's a balance. There's a in-between point of them going into captivity. All right, according to Jeremiah 30 and 16. You know, let's get that. Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore all that devour thee shall be devoured. Yeah. All that devour thee shall be devoured. Okay? And all nations had a hand. Some played a bigger part, you know. Some played a, you know, more smaller part. All right? And keeping our nationality away from us, you know what I mean? Doing us dirty in the ghetto, putting us into slavery. It's you know, because it's levels to oppression. All right? The dogs that licked that came and licked the wounds, that's the nations who came, you know, and you know, oppressed us as well, and they, you know, they damn sure didn't bemoan us or show us any mercy or pity. Okay, they roll with the stigma that's placed on Jacob, especially the Southern Kingdom. You know, it says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and all 17 nations are our adversaries. Okay. It says, all the adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. Yeah, they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. It goes into in the book of 1 Maccabees, man, who has not taken part in spoiling Jerusalem. You know? So all the nations, man, we're going to spoil them. All right, the finest of their finest things, their resources, everything's going to come to us. Their finest daughters going to come to us. The best oil, spices going to come to us. Incense going to come to us. Okay? They're going to serve it up to their gods, their power, their rulers. All right? Hey, blessed are those who bless thee, and cursed shall be those who curse thee. So they will receive, you know what I mean? They going to live good. They're going to live cool. After 1,000 years of being whipped into shape, all right, you bless us, you'll be blessed. Not nowhere near on the level as us. All right? But it'll be better than this. Okay? It'll be better than this whack-ass kingdom, this defiled-ass kingdom. You know? It says, that that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. See? Because we're going to be in those new bodies, man. It's another thing, man. That's what salvation is. Okay? Because what does it say in Matthew 1 and 21? Let's get that. And then I got another precept I'm going to hit. Matthew 1 and 21. It says, and she shall bring forth a son. And she's talking about Mary, the Lord's mother. All right. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua. Or that's a nomen omen. Or it says Jesus there, but we know that name has no meaning. All right. It has no power. Okay. And the demons that come with it, man, you know what I mean? The demons that come with that name laugh when you call upon it, man, because it's not going to deliver you out of nothing. It says, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua. You got these guys always talking about Christ, and now you got guys saying we don't have the name of our power. You know, here it is, man. We at the end of the show. We coming into the final scene. We coming to the apex of the movie. All right, and Jake pushing doubt. All right, pushing doubt, changing everything up. Doctrine like the wind. Now the spirit is like the wind. All right, but you're gonna stay within bounds. The spirit is like the wind, but you're gonna stay within bounds, pulling the precepts. These guys going all out of bounds with their doctrine. All over the place. It says, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. Who is his people? The Israelites. All right, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native, and Seminole Indians. And also our people, all right, who have been, scattered amongst the nations. And over generations, they begin to look like the nations. They may even think that they're of the other nations. But they go back to the patriarchs of Israel. So they're going to be changed too. Israel scattered amongst all the nations. You got, so-called white people, so-called Jews who are actually Judites. Okay, so-called Chinese, they're actually Israelites. A lot of those so-called Filipinos, they're actually Israelites. A lot of those so-called Cambodians, they're actually Israelites. A lot of those so-called Eritreans. All right, you would say they Cushites, but a lot of them are Israelites. All right, well, you already know. Yeah, we teach this here at Great Millstone. A lot of Irish, Sicilians, Italians. Okay, because the Jake man, the Israelite man, get it on anywhere he go. And in regards to the stigma that's on us, man, we still the most desired. The so-called Negro man, the Latino man, the Native American man, we're still the most desired. Just here in America. You know what I mean? We've been beat down and, it's a stigma put on us. And we fucked up here. That's why we see the stories that the passport bros be telling and shit. You go somewhere else, man, you get worshipped. All right? So, hey, man, Jake, man, go over to Germany. Jake leaving seed. Oh, send the Jake, man, to Australia. He leaving seed. So, yeah, we scattered amongst all the nations. And if this word resonate with you, man, okay, you're not offended by it. It makes sense to you. All right? You can receive it. You're an Israelite. Point blank period. You're an Israelite, man. Regardless of what you look like. You're an Israelite. All right? You're part of the nation, or you one of the ones who Yahushua died for. You're part of the world that the Heavenly Father gave his only begotten son up for. Okay. This is Matthew 1 and 21. Let's see. So I had something else I want to get. Matthew 1, 21. There was something else I want to get after that. Let me read it again. Got a little long-winded in breaking this verse down. Lord's will, when I read it again, the precept that I want to follow it up with will come back to mind. Matthew 1 and 21. And she shall bring forth a son, thou shalt call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. Hey, call him like Yahushua. I got it back. 1 Corinthians 15 in verse 20. But now is Hamashiach risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. All right, so through Adam came death, but through Hamashiach came the resurrection, all right, of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so Hamashiach shall all be made alive. All the Israelites, all right. What makes an Israelite alive? Wisdom. Okay? Wisdom is what brings the Israelites back to life, man, the breath. That's only given to the Israelites. It says, but every man in his own order, Hamashiach, the first fruits. Afterward, they that are Hamashiach's at his first coming. That is those who are blessed to be part of the first resurrection. Whose names are written in the book of life. All right. It says, then cometh the end when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Father. All right. It tells you in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the ancient of days did sit. Okay? So after this kingdom right here falls, then what's next? Yahweh Shai's kingdom. Okay, as it tells you in Daniel the 7th chapter, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, the ancient of days did sit. This is the last heathen kingdom to rule. All the heathens had their time, man. The Heavenly Father's fair. He's a power of balance. All right, so when it's our time, we're going to have to just, you know what I mean, split the cake, split the pie with everyone. They're gonna sit right there with us. Here's a scepter for you, a scepter like mine for you, man. Here's a crown for you. All right. So basically, it's gonna be a UN table in the kingdom, a United Nations table in the kingdom. Fuck no, that's this world. That's that Tower of Babel mind frame. No, it's not gonna happen, man. The Israelites will rule. But it says, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High, even the Father, when he shall put down all rule and all authority and power. That's why I told you in Revelation 19th chapter, on his head, speaking about Hamashiach Yahushua, were many crowns. Okay? Verse 25, for he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. See, the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. So he's going to save us from our physical enemies, yeah, but he's going to save us from ourselves too. All right, this body, which is just prone to sin. All right, because the wages of sin is death. So the last enemy that shall be defeated is death. All right, when Yahushua returns with healing in his wings. Okay, let me read that again. 1 Corinthians 15:26. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. Okay? Why? Because, hey, we're going to shed these bodies, the Israelites. We're going to get that new mind. We're going to be renewed. We're going to be made perfect in the sight of our power. All right? We're going to govern over the heathen. All right? Hey, and the kingdom of heaven going to be for the Israelites. You know? But the rest of the nations, man, who are created to serve us, they're going to do just that. Okay? And they'll be able to rejoice in the kingdom of heaven eventually. So they won't be destroyed. Neither will they receive salvation. Okay? There's a role that they have to play. All right? And it's not being saved nor being destroyed, save for Esau, Edom eventually. All right, but for the rest of the other nations, man, you know, they'll be around. But they'll never be perfect. Okay? They'll never be able to fly. All right? They'll never be able to teleport. They won't live forever. They won't be young forever. All right? And they won't call shots. You know, they won't call shots. All right? And they will own nothing and be happy. All right? They will own nothing and be happy because everything will be ours. You know? With that, I'm going to close it out, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Hara Chakodash, Shalom to the Lord's elect.